Good morning, guys. Oh, I'm zoomed in. I hope you're all having an awesome day. I'm not quite sure exactly what I want to do today. There's a few things I can do. I can either put the new brakes in the R33 or I could try fix the power steering pump in the Falcon. Kind of think I want to do the Falcon because I've been missing driving sort of it around, and at the moment because I can't go in for my driving test for manual just yet because of this coronavirus stuff. I don't exactly have a car to drive around if no one else is here. So I kind of want to get that one done, but I don't know, sort of see whatever I can get to today. I have all the parts in for the Falcon. I have a brand new power steering pump, plus I have a pressure switch. I'm gonna replace the switch maybe, see how that goes, but I also have to go down and get some more fluid anyway, so let's go do that real quick and then we should be good.
I was just saying, I have the same problem.
Hey, it runs today, that's a bonus. Oh, did you see my new little drifty boy?
Yeah.
Good, eh?
I have one of them in my school.
Yes. Oh, it's all good. I tested it out yesterday and it worked. Rightio. See what we can do. Alright, so first plan of attack, I've got everything out. I'm going to replace the pressure switch here. Now, I know it's not going to do anything. I just bought it because I just wanted to replace parts in the power steering system just in case something may go wrong. But yeah, I'm not quite sure exactly what the issue is. I'm going to figure it out today, hopefully. So yeah, replace the pressure switch, see if that does anything at all. I doubt it will. And then we'll go from there. Well, would you look at that? My pressure switch was literally full of power steering fluid. So I'm gonna blow all that out, get all that out, and then replace it. Then hopefully maybe we should have power steering again. So rightio, so I have my new pressure switch here. I grab this old one out, put the other one back in, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, we should have hopefully some power steering. Probably not, but we'll see how we go. Rightio, so either way, I'm actually quite happy I replaced that switch. I'm going to quickly start the car up and see if anything changed. I highly doubt it, but I don't know, we'll see. If this is literally the issue, I have no idea what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Nah, definitely not the issue. Alright, back to square one. Alrighty, so plan of attack. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be fitting up the new power steering pump. The one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave out the Mackie-Lek relocation for the reservoir. Only reason is it's a lot easier to fault find with the stock parts than with modified parts. So if you guys remember, this right here is my power steering pump. This is a different one that I put in last week to see if it would work, and it hasn't yet. So what we're going to do now, this line here can come straight off and go up to there. Now that's full of brand new power steering fluid. So I'm going to try and save as much of that as possible. This secondary line right here, this line here is the return. So that right there hopefully will be the exact same size to go up to the bottom of the original power steering reservoir that sits on top of the power steering pump. And because I remember this run here, this is a -8 line that we've really had to stretch over there, and it was, they were both -8s, but some reason it was just way too hard to get off. So luckily we don't have to use that line though. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo this one here, try and save as much power steering as I can in there. And I'm going to take off this line here and once again try and save as much power steering fluid as I can, and then I'm going to completely redo to the stock power steering setup. And then when Gene gets here on the weekend, I'm going to get him to help me put on the Mackie-Lek power steering reservoir relocation. So that's my current plan of attack. Let's hope it all goes to plan. Managed to save about 400 mils out of that reservoir, and the best thing is that the return line was actually full as well, so that means hopefully there was no pockets in the system and it was actually working, but hopefully it's just some stupid mistake that I made. So alrighty, let's keep draining some fluid, hey? Alrighty, so the next point I'm going to be draining some fluid out of is this fitting right here. So it goes to a little fitting that Mackie made, basically, that goes up to the standard power steering pump from an FG Mark 1 and backwards to a BA when they first came out in 2002, exactly the same pump. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo these 3 fittings around here with an Allen key, and then with the reservoir raised, I should be able to hopefully get more fluid out of this return line here, and then I can pretty much get the relocation out, and then we can hopefully start fitting up the new pump ready to go in. I'm a pro at fitting these new pumps now. I can do it in like 2 seconds. So yeah, super happy. Let's get this fitting off right here. Oh, and biggest thing as well, microfiber, and get it and put it, or just rags or anything, and put it over the alternator, because you do not want to have any power steering fluid on your alternator, because it will fry itself. Max knows because he actually got stranded out on the highway one time. Maxie's taking the Skyline just for fun. You have the Demon down there, mate. Why would you want to drive a dirty Skyline? Because?
Places faster.
You sued it. Maybe you should get one.
Well, I had one.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, someone in the comments, actually a couple of people in the comments yesterday, I was talking about how my wheels have turned cream so far. They reckon that I should do like a bronze, like a T37 bronze color.
Like what Adam's done.
Yeah, with the Evo. What do you reckon? I reckon that'll look sick.
Yeah.
And it'd be so much easier to clean too.
Yeah, better than creamy white.
Yeah, I know. Sounds so good. Should give it a little bit up the street. God, it's such a good looking car. So first of all, belts off, little tiny ratchet. For some reason, I'm the most useless person in the world and I can't get these off myself. So first of all, I'm gonna put my little ratchet down here. Cool, and now I'm gonna grab this thing off my Extreme, I know, but if it works, it works. Jack handle on. Pull it back, belts off, like that. As I said, extreme, but it works. Easy. Rightio, so now it's 3 10mm and 1 22mm nut to get that high pressure line off. So let's quickly do them and we'll fix that all up right now. Alright guys, so this right here is a regular power steering pump reservoir. So you can see it has that return line right there, which basically goes back up into the bottom, which is what then feeds this reservoir back from when it goes through the pump, around through the cooler, through the power steering rack, and then back up here, or whichever way it goes. So this here is a return line. Now I pray to God that the line that I have sitting in there at the moment for the return line is the same size. If not, I'm probably just going to burn the car, to be honest, because I really don't feel like changing lines over, and I just took out the original Mackie Lake relocation thing. So let's pray to God. Alrightio, fingers crossed. Here is the power steering return. Oh, finally something has gone right. Let's start putting the new pump back in, I guess. New parts time, hey? Let's open this bad boy up. Brand new power steering pump. Rightio, let's get it fitted. Rightio, so it's been over a good hour since I embarked on trying to fit this power steering pump. Now, one thing that I just couldn't understand was the fact that you can't get to that 22mm nut with the reservoir on top. So Gene is going to cringe at me because I have probably no idea what I'm doing. This fitting down here that comes with the power steering pump is actually different to the one that's on the end of the line. Now, I took that fitting out, and there was still a little section that was still inside the pump. So what I was able to do is utilize that, which actually stays up in here. There's a spring, and then there's like a little sort of valve bit here. But you couldn't actually get to this 22mm nut. So I've had to take off the reservoir off the brand new pump, so that way I could get to this nut here, refit the reservoir, and bang on the little clips there. And then I'm finally able to get all that sorted. It has been an absolute nightmare, but one thing I actually did find was that these two pumps here probably had issues I just found. So basically what happened was, this one right here is a Mark II pump, so we're going to completely disregard that. This one right here was the one I just had in the car, and look at this. There are, you guys won't be able to see, but there's absolutely nothing down there. There's no valving whatsoever that was in the other two pumps. This one right here is the one that I blew up, and this one right here has the valve in it, but there's no way you can push it down. There's no spring, there's no pressure or anything, which is I'm guessing the reason why I lost power steering, I could imagine, was because that might have failed. So I'm not actually quite sure myself. I'm learning, but that's the only difference I can find between the three. This one here didn't have a valve. That's what it was in there like, so I could imagine that's probably why it wasn't working. This one here had a valve, but it's seized shut. It's not working. This one here has a spring, and that's all ready to go. I can feel it moving. Everything's all done, and I've just tightened it up. So that's probably the issue. Oh my God, I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm sorry, internet mechanics. I failed you all. Oh, you kidding me. Rightio, so as I was tightening the pump just before, it decided to strip on me. No idea why. This fitting here is identical to the other fitting, and it strips. It's pressed on to the hard line, so you literally cannot change it. The other fitting I had went in completely fine, and this is advertised as an FG fitting too, so I'm a little bit confused. Anyway, what I'm going to do now, I am going to basically fit this up. That's as tight as it can possibly go without stripping, and literally it's almost finger tight. It does have an O-ring there, and it does have threads at the bottom, so it won't push out any further. So fingers crossed, maybe when I fill it up with oil, it won't leak, and then maybe we could get away with having it stripped for a bit until I can get them to send out a new one, because yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed, but you know, that's what happens. So yeah, let's just hope we can get this sorted, hey? Alright, so everything is now back in place. Everything is as tight as it possibly can be. That there should actually bleed properly, as long as it doesn't rise anywhere. It actually rises right there too. I don't know, I'll sort all that out. Actually, I probably should sort that now before I end up putting it all in the car and filling it with fluid. But yeah, it's going to be a nightmare. So yeah, I'll sort it all out. I'm just going to reroute some hoses now, then I can start filling it up with fluid. Gonna let it sit for a little bit, and then we should be alright to hopefully maybe have power steering. Sick. So I'm gonna fill it up super slowly and see if I can get all this stuff to bleed out. Oh no! You guys may or may not be able to see that, but that fitting there, the one that literally took no pressure to strip whatsoever when they're supposed to be super tight, is not holding anything. So I'm gonna drain all that fluid out. I'm gonna wait another week until I can start my car again. This is screwed up. So I'm a little bit bummed. I've tried 3 pumps. This one here stripped. One thing that I did manage to find though, so with the fitting that they gave me with the pump, they are the exact same fitting. This one here tightens up, the other one on the line doesn't. Now, I've just spent a couple of hours trying to figure out, like literally, like we were taking apart the pump when the sun was over the car, and it's already moved all the way over there. I've spent hours on this trying to fix this. I want to have it running, that's all I want to do. One thing that I did manage to find on the internet was underneath the actual thing, there's a little tiny collar. Which originally I didn't have to undo because I was just putting the old pump back on. Turns out those collars there don't hold anything in place. So I'm going to take those collars off and hope I don't ruin anything, because if I do that, it'll be a new power steering line, and I really don't want to fork out that much for a new power steering line. So we'll see how we go. I'm not quite sure exactly how it's going to go, but I don't know, we'll find out. So Genius rang me. Turns out I made a right mess of this job, and I did it completely wrong. So under that hard line, apparently there's only a select few FGs that actually have this stupid random weight that sits around with these clamps, which is super odd. So underneath those clamps right there actually sits this 17mm. So what you can do is undo this 17mm and then take off this fitting here, and in which case I can then fit the original fitting that came with the power steering pump. I can actually get to it with a spanner, which is just perfect. And this one here isn't stripped inside the housing. Maybe there might have been something just so minutely different about this one here that isn't stripped. This one's really tight at the moment, so that's all good. So now what I'm going to do, tighten it up like crazy so that one isn't stripped, so that's all good. And I'm also going to use a 22mm and a 17 to get this top fitting off. Once I do that, I think there's a crush washer in there I might have to replace, but I can do that, that's no worries, I've got a few there. And then I'm going to refit the power steering pump, and I can actually get to this one right here, because this all spins freely like that, and actually do the hard line up properly. And then we might have power steering. Oh, I'm over it. For the first time since last Sunday, it's no longer leaking power steering. There is no leaks whatsoever. Everything should be all good. So yeah, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to sort of, this hose here, because it is long, and I do want to end up putting the reservoir back in as soon as I find a pump that actually works, or I find an issue with the power steering system. I'm going to leave this hose as long as it needs to, otherwise it's just going to be a pain to get off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bleed this pump as much as I can, let the car sit for around about an hour, like what Jean said, and then turn the wheels back and forward like 20-ish times, bleed that system as much as I possibly can, and then we'll leave it probably another hour. We'll start her up, and praying to God we have power steering. Otherwise I'm going to be a very unhappy Zachy. Rightio, so the fluid looks like it's bled a little bit over that hour that I've left it. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to grab the cap, which is this one. Alrighty, I'm going to chuck that on top. Rightio, so now what we're going to do, we're going to... Oh, that's not straight. Is it straight? Does it not go straight? Oh my God, that's going to hurt me for the rest of my days. Why does it go like that? Surely. It doesn't even go on straight. That hurts me. Alrighty, I'm going to start it up and see if we have power steering, I guess. Man, I can't wait to drive this car again. So first of all, we'll look around for leaks. Doesn't look like anything at the moment. So after a few seconds of running, that little bit of noise will go away. Now let's try lock to lock and see how we go. Oh, oh, oh my God. Oh, that is that. Someone should definitely blacken that clip out and just listen to the audio. Might help you get to sleep at night. Oh my God, I'm so happy. Apparently I do this about a dozen times and she's all good. This is definitely not how I thought today was going to end, to be honest. I originally thought that was not going to happen, but massive thanks to Jean for giving me a call and helping me out with that little fitting. I should have known, but I don't know, I guess we're all learning. So now for next time I'll know exactly what to do. So one thing I'm going to do before I end up doing anything is I'm going to clean this up, because that looks terrible. It's just battery acid and stuff. Originally there was like a plastic plate there, and as soon as I did this and the relocation, it just turned terrible. So I even think I might even try and scuff it back and just hit it all with some black paint. That way get rid of all the surface rust and stuff. So see how we go. Oh no. What have you done? What is this? You swapped the F6, have you?
To go even slower. Car.
Oh, mate. It's surprisingly a lot cleaner in person, hey?
Well, I have spent 2 days.
Hey, they're new wheels too?
They sure are.
Dude, not
Nightclub boys.
not bad, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
It's actually not a bad, and it sounds alright too.
I'm in trouble now.
Woohoo!
Yeah, she's very tiny, even under the hood it's like...
Mate! Gallo 24, I love it. Beautiful. Alright, so I may or may not have done myself a mischief for some reason. I'm not going to try and hide the fact. At the moment, what are you guys doing?
Just getting all the corn out.
Oh God.
That's enough. Alright.
Rightio.
My entertainment, I'm crying.
So I tried to rev up the car just to make sure that all the intercooler piping wasn't going to pop off, and it died basically. So revved up, it was revving up like an NA, wasn't spooling or dosing or anything weird. So The only thing that I could think of is I was starting the car every sort of day with the bonnet down to see if the power steering pump had sort of come good overnight. The only thing I could think of was the fact that I put a rag over the top of this pipe here so that nothing would fall down into the intercooler. And I may have even sucked it up. So I'm going to double check that and see how we go. Done myself a mischief. And we'll see how we go.
Well, water's coming out of it now. Wash the grease.
Wow. I am an idiot. That's crazy. My landlord's right next door. She just called me an idiot. How dare you? No. No, you're all good. I called myself an idiot twice, so. Wow. I am silly.
How much are we going to put this bad boy in?
We'll just top it up like a small amount first, like get a bit of
Woohoo! That'd be the culprit there, boys.
Oh,
Look at that. Alright, let's put the old piping back together and see if it runs now, eh? So after today, both cars are all fixed, which is awesome. So the one thing we have left to do, I've ordered parts for the Falcon, so valve springs, head studs have been ordered. Still don't know what I'm going to do with the exhaust just yet with the new turbo. If you guys remember, the new turbo has an exhaust, sorry, it has a waste, what would you call it? Wastegate pipe sort of thing. Yeah, it's got a wastegate welded onto the exhaust housing on the turbo. There you go. Yes. So yeah, that's welded onto the side of the turbo, or the exhaust housing on the turbo. So what we're gonna have to do, either we leave it external or we plumb it back into the standard dump. I do love the exhaust on the Falcon, and one of the things I would love about the external gate is the fact you guys will be able to hear it in person. One thing that I was thinking, and Jan will probably let me know if I can't do it, but one thing I'd love to do is with my tunes with PCM Tech is to have the 4-tune software go 1 ghost cams, 2 would be low boost 98 with wastegate plumbed back in, and then tune 3 will be wastegate plumbed in high boost, and then tune 4 will be wastegate open on high boost as well. So that way I could do that with both 98 and E85, which would be cool. E85 should see maybe, I just want to see it for the number. It'll easily run 600, but that's all I pretty much want. Lee will probably put it up to whatever it can kind of go, but another thing is I really don't want to run into any issues when it comes to my transmission or anything like that. I still have a standard tail shaft, and I still have a standard diff, still standard axles and standard transmission, and standard bottom end as well. So I don't want to push any of that to a point where it's going to be bad. I don't really want to work it to a point where it's going to be not reliable. So that's the plan for that at the moment. The Skyline has a plan to go in for one of those brand new Link ECUs next month. So give it about a month and we'll probably have everything here ready to go so the Skyline can get tuned and then we can send it to the track. And then the Falcon will pretty much be done by then as well. There's not much to go into the Falcon, literally valve springs, head studs, exhaust, work out what we're going to do with it, and then send it straight to Lee, go get it tuned up. The Skyline, on the other hand, Whitey's wiring in Brisbane is actually going to help us out with the Skyline. So with it, we are going with one of the new Link ECUs. He's going to wire it all in, and then we're going to take it up to the boys at On-Song Performance and go do a bit of a tuning day with him. Be really cool to sort of have him work on the whole car and tune it and do everything. It'd be sort of really cool for their brand as well. So we're going to head up there, do that, and that should be all sweet. But the STD33 has come a long way. Very proud of it. Finally got power steering in the Falcon, so we can finally go for a drive with that. And now that the new coronavirus things have lifted, I can finally take it back up on some more mountain runs. So I'm thinking about doing that tomorrow. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, anyway, I head back upstairs and see how we go. Finish off the day, I guess.